Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Grey Board Gamer here with the next round of my playthrough of Warhammer Quest, the adventure card game by Fantasy Flight Games. But before we head into the next round of gameplay, we need to head over to Correction Corner. Welcome to Correction Corner, which looks suspiciously exactly the same as the regular gameplay area. But with the exception of, instead of going around, I'm going to fix some of the mistakes that I made in the previous rounds. First, this orc boy was over here in the first round, and I used my rest action to exhaust him, and it specifically says on his card this enemy can exhaust only after it activates, so I should not have been able to exhaust the orc boy. And when it was here, I used this rest action and rolled 2 white dice, but did not make myself roll one of the black dice that I should have for that. So I'm going to fix that. And then in the next action, the Ironbreaker did his attack and pulled the orc boy over here, but only rolled 1 black dice because he also had the bat here at the time. He should have rolled 2, so I'm going to also roll another black dice for the Ironbreaker. And then it went back to the Way Watcher and then came back to the Ironbreaker for his second action. And he did his Explore action, and the orc boy was still here, and he should have rolled one of the black dice for that orc boy that was exhausted incorrectly at the very beginning of the round. When he did roll, though, he did get 1 shield on the white dice. So if he does get an attack that's successful from the orc boy on his second black dice roll that I'm going to do, it'll be -1 damage because he did have 1 shield. Finally, that's all the stuff that went in my favor. Now, what went against me was when I drew these dungeon cards. You can see down here in the bottom right or bottom left hand corner this gold coin symbol. It's on this card, and it's also on the Dwarven Ale down there in the bottom left. When you draw a dungeon card that has that gold coin symbol on it, it means I should also draw a gear card. So after I get done doing all the dice rolls, I will draw 1 gear card for each player because they should have drawn one when they got that dungeon card. Let's head over to the dice tray and correct some of my mistakes. This first makeup roll, will be for the Way Watcher, who has to roll 1 black dice for the orc boy that was there and should not have been exhausted. And the Way Watcher will take 3 wounds, because that's the attack strength of the orc boy. Now this first one that I'm going to roll for the Ironbreaker was for that time he used his attack action, and he will not take any damage from that first one. And now when he uses Explore action, again he has to roll 1 black dice, and if he takes any damage on this one, he did get 1 shield when he rolled the white dice. And he will also not take any damage, only the 3 damage to the Way Watcher. The Way Watcher will take an additional 3 damage. Ironbreaker got lucky and didn't have any more to add. So our dice rolls should all be corrected now from the first and second round. The ritual candles that are over here on the Way Watcher with that gold coin symbol entitles her to draw a gear card, and she was the first one to get a dungeon card, so she'll take the first gear card. And it is a weapon, Stiletto. During your attack action, you may discard 1 success token to choose 1 target enemy engaged with you. Apply -2 to its resilience. Well, that's definitely Very handy, because we already have a couple of creatures with resilience in play. And the Ironbreaker will now draw a gear card for the gold symbol he had on his Dwarven L. And it is a helm, an accessory, a horned cap. Before your action, you may discard one success to roll one fewer enemy dice, down to a minimum of one. Limit one helm per hero. Alright, so the dwarf has his horned helmet on. Now that should take care of everything that I had to correct. If there was anything else that anyone noticed, please make sure you let me know in the comments. Otherwise, it's time for us to begin our next round. Currently, we're still exploring the Lost Dwarven Forge. We have 5 successes on here already. We need 9 to end the exploration and move on to our next location. Odious Grump has spawned due to the peril track reaching the green section, so he is over here engaged with the Ironbreaker. She doesn't have anybody engaged with her right now. I think the smartest thing for us to do would be to quickly get this taken care of, maybe take out the Orc Boy. If we get lucky, we could take care of Odious Grump, but he's got 6 health and 1 resilience. I just have to figure out what I want to do for my first action with the Way Watcher. For the Way Watcher's first action, I'm going to have her do her 8 action Shadow Watch, which I need to roll 2 white dice. She doesn't have any creatures engaged with her. We got 1 success and a shield with a critical success. And an additional success, so 3 total. I gained 3 successes with that 8 action. I'm going to place 2 of them on his attack and 1 on his rest action. Also, the target hero may ready 1 action, so we'll ready his attack, and I may choose 1 enemy engaged with the target hero, and that enemy suffers a wound. Well, I'm going to choose the Orc Boy, and because this is not an attack, his resilience doesn't help him, and that will be 3. That is enough to get this Orc Boy out of here and taken care of. The Orc Boy is discarded, and we move to the Ironbreaker for his first action. I think I'll go after Odious Grump here. We'll attack him. He's the only enemy out to engage, so I'm not going to engage 2, and I'll get to attack with 2 dice, and I'll use both of my tokens to give me an advantage. I'm attacking with my Inexorable Advance, and a total of 3 successes, 1 shield, and he hits me for 2 wounds, but the shield will take it down to 1. Odious Grump will take 2 wounds because he has a resilience of 1, so that'll take my 3 down to 2, and I'll have to take 1 wound inflicted by him. Now we'll move over to the Way Watcher for her second action. I want to get this Lost Dwarven Forge explored before the peril track gets close to the end. I don't want to take any more turns up. So I'll go ahead and do Orion's Hunt and explore. I want to get this location explored. Orion's Hunt gives us at least 2. Oh, there we go. That's what we needed. 4 successes. That'll give us 4 successes, which will bring us up to a total of 9, which is exactly what we need for exploration. to move on to our next location, which we will be able to do in our next location phase. She still has to draw and resolve a dungeon card. And it is a locked gold chest. You may discard this card after your activation and exhaust one action to claim 2 gear cards. Well, that's pretty nice. Alright. We will see. I don't know if we're going to use that yet or if that's something we're going to hold. Well, there's no need to hold it, because if I don't use it up before the end of this quest, then it's going to go away. Even though I can only hold on to 1 gear card, maybe I'll draw something that will be better than the stiletto that I have right now, and I can just swap it out for that. I may exhaust 1 non-Nemesis enemy in the shadows. There's no enemies in the shadows. That'll end the Way Watcher's turn, and we'll go to the Ironbreaker for his second action. I had placed a couple of success tokens on this Explore action because I thought I was going to need it to get this taken care of. So that's a nice bonus that I got it done with the Way Watcher. Now I can save those for our next location. I could rest, but I only have 6 wounds, which still leaves, or 7 wounds, which still leaves him with 19 available health. I think I'll do the shield wall, the aid action, because that'll allow me to give at least 1, or hopefully 1 success token to the Way Watcher. So I'm going to roll a die. Before this action, you may engage 1 enemy, engage with the target hero. She has nobody, so I'm going to roll 1 die, 1 white and 1 black. I'm going to roll the dice for my shield wall, and 2 successes and the Nemesis action. I have 2 successes that I can place on the Way Watcher. I could put it on her attack because we don't know what's coming up. I could put it on her rest because she does have wounds that she's going to need to take care of. I'll put 1 on each, 1 on her attack and 1 on her rest. Now he also rolled the Nemesis symbol, so I have to distribute 2 wounds amongst the party, and I'll just give 1 to each. She already had 2 ones here, so I'll flip that one over, so she now has 6 total, and our Ironbreaker has 8. Target hero may ready 1 action. Either I could ready her Explore or her aid. I'll ready her aid action, because that also allows me to do 1 damage to an enemy. And then finally, ready all of your actions. I also wanted to make sure his attack was ready for when we went into the next location, in case we had to do some fighting right away. That'll take care of all of the player actions for this round, and now we will move into the enemy phase. The enemy phase, we would start with our first player. She has nobody in her engagement zone, and he has nobody in the shadows. So we'll move to the Ironbreaker, and he will activate Odious Grump, whose first action is to inflict. And he does 2 wounds. So he had 8, so now he'll have 10, so I'll just flip that one over. 10 total wounds. And then he does his prey action, which is this enemy engages the hero with the most wounds. The Ironbreaker has the most wounds, so Odious Grump will stay right there. Since he's the only enemy, we can move past the enemy phase now into the location phase. There is enough success on here for us to move on from the Lost Dwarven Forge to our next location, which is the sewer system. The horrid stench of rotting food and effluent is overpowering. Any misstep or error could result in unpleasantness. Well, you don't want to step in that. It's a nasty, dirty looking place. At the end of the location phase, each hero who has 2 or more exhausted actions suffers a wound. So we want to try and maintain our actions, being ready, that is. We're going to spawn 1 creature to the active player, 3 in the shadows, and we need 7 exploration successes to move past the sewer system. Our first creature will go to the Way Watcher because she still has the first player symbol. And it's going to be a gigantic spider. An elite gigantic spider. Causes 2 wounds, has 4 health. And it can do the ensnare action. If this enemy is in the shadows, exhaust 1 action. Well, that's not good. It's going to end up exhausting our actions, which will cause us to take more wounds from the sewer system. And then we also have 3 creatures that will spawn into the shadows. Now, when we move to the new location, Odious Grump follows us because he's actively engaged, and he's a Nemesis. And for the peril phase, we'll move to the next symbol, which is not a colored symbol, so there's no special story action that's going to take place. And that will end this round and move us into our next one.